Hey students, thanks for checking out this video. This video is about the beginning of World War I, also called the Great War, and the war to end all wars. Regardless of what we call it, World War I was a terrible conflict that changed the world and in many ways set the stage for the Second World War that claimed more lives than less than 3 decades later. So why did World War I start? By the end of this video, you should be able to identify the causes of World War I. Well, there were a number of reasons the war started. In this video, we are going to look at several trends that were taking place in Europe in the first part of the 20th century, which increased tensions between some of the world's most powerful nations. These trends created a toxic environment in Europe, and as a consequence, Europe almost became a big barrel of explosive power where it would just take a spark to ignite a massive conflict. And in the end, that is what happened. So, here was what was happening in Europe before the beginning of World War I. First, there was a great deal of nationalism. Nationalism is an immense feeling of pride in one's nation. Too often, when we think of a nation, we think of a single country, but that isn't always the case. A nation is a large number of people united by a common descent, history, culture, or language that live in a particular country or territory. However, sometimes there can be multiple nations in one country. And a lot of times, if there are different nations within the boundaries of one country, those nations often compete with one another for power. And a lot of those times, those competitions can turn violent. Nationalism can also result in competition among nation states. Each nation wants to show that they are the very best. Another trend before World War I was a rise in militarism. Militarism is when there is a glorification of the military. Once a country starts building, promoting, and glorifying their military, it isn't a large stretch to think that that country may actually want to use that military. Third, just like the United States, many European powers were engaging in building empires and following imperialist policies. As many European countries sought to build empires to increase their power, gain access to resources and markets, they were in a state of competition with other nations. Now, the last piece of the puzzle was that as the situation in Europe became more intense, European countries began dividing themselves into groups or alliances. And while these alliances were designed to make European countries feel more secure as the situation in Europe became more dangerous, they also put the continent into an increasingly difficult state. Because if two countries went into war with one another, those fighting countries would bring in their allies and make the conflict bigger and bigger. With these four trends sweeping through Europe, it became possible that a spark might create a massive conflict. And that's what happened. So here are the causes of World War I: imperialism, militarism, nationalism, and this complex system of alliances. Thanks for watching.